It's really important to have a sharp knife. If you have a blunt knife, you're probably going to cut yourself. Even chefs, they go and buy this fancy ass Hattori Hanzo knife and then use it to open cans of tomatoes. If you're learning to cook or you want to learn to sharpen your knife, go out and buy like a Victorinox. You're probably going to fuck it up really bad, but that's okay. At least you didn't go out and buy that handmade Japanese thing. Hey, I'm Luke Powell, chef and co-owner of LP's Quality Meats here in Chippendale. We're at the restaurant. I always worked in fine dining. It came time for me to open my own place. People walk in here and they think it's going to be some fucking shitty barbecue joint, and they just get sort of overwhelmed with how refined everything is, but at the same time it's not stuffy or pretentious. Today I'm going to cook you a flank steak with rendered smoked beef fat vinaigrette. I love cooking steaks. It's always a good thing to cook at a big party. It feeds lots of people and you don't make friends with salad. We've got some Ranges Valley Marble Score 3 beef flank here. Marble Score just refers to the juiciness and tenderness of the steak. This is a Marble Score 3. It goes up to 12, but this will still be a delicious cut of meat. We've got some Italian parsley here. We have a couple of lemons, peeled eschalots, minced beef fat, and just some salt and pepper. To start, we're gonna smoke this beef fat. I've got about almost 600 grams here. We're gonna crumble that up into this tray, just so it's got more surface area. If we smoke that whole clump, the smoke's not going to penetrate that very well. Once that's all crumbled up, we're going to move it over here to the Mr. Weber. So that's going in there. We've got a tray of applewood chips in there. Eating the fruit woods is really, really nice and it's not too overpowering. I'm just going to put some coals that I have. If you've got gas at home, I probably wouldn't recommend putting them in your kitchen. The best thing to do would probably be go to the barbecue store and get one of those stackable charcoal things. It's like looks like a big beer stein. And you put the coals in there and then light it up with fire lighters first. We're just gonna grab a couple of these guys. Be careful, don't burn yourself. And just put them in the wood chips, cover it up a little bit. You want it smoky, but you don't want it to taste like an ashtray. Okay, so now I'll just cover up the chips with the lid for maybe half an hour to an hour, just smoking away. You just gotta keep checking it. While that's smoking, we're gonna dice the eschalots, but there's a good little tip to get nice square little onions. You can see the lines on the onion, they sort of go around this sort of shape. And I'm just gonna cut just into it, not to the root of the onion, because I want it all to hold together. And then I'm gonna cut it again, maybe just try and do 2 or 3 times. Once more at the top. And then I'm just gonna cut down, going along the onion, and then just gonna chop that along. If they're not fine enough, or you got some little chunky monkeys like that, we can just run the knife through them. Probably if you were to do that in a restaurant, it's a little bit frowned upon. That's why I don't cook fine dining anymore. It seems a bit silly. So now the eschalots are done, let's run over here to the barbecue and just check if the chips are still smoking away. If you need to, you can push the chips back on top of the coals again. If it kind of looks like it's slowing down, we can give it a little blow. There's no air in there. Fuck, I'm crying. Fuck, it's hectic. It's smoking again, give it a little blow. It's ripping along. Cover that back up. We're gonna chop some parsley. Give it a little wash under the water just to make sure there's no grits or worms and shit under there. Just give it a little tappy tap. There's no real set amount. I'm just gonna pick the parsley off the stalks. We're just gonna give it a bit of a chop. You can go as fine or as coarse with this as if you want to. All right, so parsley and eschalots are chopped. It's been an hour in the smoker for the beef fat, so we're gonna go over and grab it out. Now we're just gonna move the beef fat over to a pot just to render it out after it's been smoking. And we're just gonna put it onto the stove top. This is on really low. See that? It's fire. This is starting to get a little bit like liquid. That's all the beef fat. So now while this is rendering, I'm just gonna move all my coals over to the barbecue, make it nice and hot so we can cook the flank steak on it. This is so hot. So the flank steak, I'm just gonna season it with a little bit of oil. Now this is just a blend of canola and olive oil. Let's put a little bit on and just rub it over the meat. Now you don't want too much. If you put too much, it's gonna taste like, I don't know, burnt. Salt, go quite heavy on the salt. All right, so just gonna put this flank steak on the barbie. Some people are really opposed to the flippity flop thing. I'm gonna keep turning it and turning it and turning it. It's kind of like a rotisserie. So the bottom side now is getting all the heat. I had it on that side for about 20 seconds. If it's getting too fucking out of control, don't leave it on there and hope for the best. You can pull it off. I can walk around with this, nothing's gonna happen. I like steaks quite bloody, but this guy's probably gonna be a little bit tough if I do cook it that low, so probably medium rare medium is probably a better way to go. All right, so I pulled this flank steak off. give it a bit of a rest. I'll just let it chill out there for maybe another 6 minutes. All right, so it's been 6 minutes for the flank resting. I'm just gonna cut it into strips, just straight across. You can see this end, it is quite rare in the middle, but then down here, it's pretty sort of medium. I can't eat all this thing by myself, but whoever wants to eat the rare end can eat that side, and whoever wants to eat a bit more cooked can eat it down there. All right, now that the flank steak's cooked, we'll grab the rendered beef fat. So you can see it's all melted. We're just gonna put that into another little pot, just with a sieve. 4 sort of heaped spoonfuls of the chopped eschalots, 2 of these big spoonfuls of chopped parsley, a teaspoon of salt, probably the same again of black pepper, 1 part lemon juice to 3 parts rendered beef fat. We'll give it a little stir. I'm gonna give this a little taste, just to make sure. I'm gonna taste pretty good. So I'm just gonna dress this on the steak now. All right, so that's the grilled flank steak with smoked beef fat vinaigrette. Sort of like perfect for outdoor, summer, friendo, barbecue vibes. It's delicious. Chaz, come and eat the steak. You have to say it's good.